on that. We just use, depending on what's on.
Thank you for coming to the June 11, 2013 Mount Olive Township Council Conference meeting. I'd like everyone to please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and then take a moment of silent reflection for all of our volunteers, our military serving our country. Thank you.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. Mrs. Lashway, would you please read the Open Public Meetings Act announcement?
According to the Open Public Meetings Act, adequate notice of this meeting has been given to the Daily Record. Notice has been posted in the Municipal Building, 204 Flanders Drakestown Road, Bud Lake, New Jersey, and notices were sent to those requesting the same.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Mr. Frente?
Here.
Mr. Nacastro?
Here.
Mr. Perkins?
Here.
Mr. Roman?
Here.
Mr. Stazak?
Here.
Mr. Mania?
Here.
Mrs. Laybow?
Here. First item on our agenda is executive session, and we will be discussing personnel matters, Board of Education baseball fields, and purchase of EDUs. Oh, we're removing the EDU discussion.
Still discussions that have to be accomplished.
Okay, not a problem. Mr.
Perkins.
You want to do it at the end?
How long do you expect the executive session to be?
Not long.
How long?
Should we do
No.
it now or at the end of the meeting?
End of the meeting.
You want to do it? All right, I changed that. We are going to do that at the end of the meeting. Are we doing it at the end of the workshop or the public meeting?
End of the public meeting.
Okay.
Unless there's no action that has to be taken at the public meeting.
No
There's no
action.
action that needs to be taken. It's a very brief update on both issues.
Okay, so we are moving the executive session to the end of the public meeting. So we're moving right along to resolutions. Anybody have any resolutions that they would like to discuss this evening? Oh, I see we have a visitor. Hello. And what's your name?
I've asked Rob Pariseau to sit up here with us. Rob is currently in the process of getting his life badge as a Boy Scout, which is one below Eagle Scout. And part of his requirements were to interview me and also to be present at a council meeting. So I've asked him to sit up here so he can get a feel for what it's like to actually participate in Mount Olive government.
Excellent. Do you want to, so we have it for the record, your name and address, and we'll make it
Go
official?
ahead, say your name and address.
Robert Pariseau, 7 Sunset Drive, Bud Lake, New Jersey.
Which troop are you with?
249.
Very good.
Thank you.
Excellent troop. You have your meetings in St. Jude's?
Yep.
Very good.
How about a round of applause?
Thank you.
for Robert?
Yay. Actually, I think that's a really good idea. When we have our Eagle Scouts or the Girl Scouts working on their Gold or Bronze, we should invite them to come up and sit on the dais. I think that's a great idea.
I think that the Eagle Scouts and the Boy Scouts and the Girl Scouts who move towards the more advanced
Yep.
accomplishments are our future leaders,
Mhm.
whether it be in Mount Olive or elsewhere, and their accomplishments need to be recognized and their participation needs to be fostered.
I agree 100%. Excellent idea, and welcome. If you have any questions, just raise your hand, and we'll be happy to attempt to answer those questions for you. So, back to the resolutions. Anybody have any questions? Mr. Roman?
Sean, on the generator for the Bud Lake Fire Department, is that within the amount that was previously talked about?
Yes, yeah, the total, if I recall correctly, the total capital budget for the generator project at Bud Lake Fire was, I believe, $90,000. The price that came in on just the generator alone, I believe in the resolution, off the top of my head, is about $36,000. There's still, Bud Lake Fire, the building itself possesses some unique electrical challenges, so there's some reworking that has to be done there, but we're very confident we're going to come well underneath that ordinance budget number. So the project's moving along. As I said in past administrative reports, a lot of our projects are going fairly well, but I want to, despite the football, yes, we're pretty optimistic.
Okay, thank you very much.
Excellent. Any other questions? Mr. Mayor?
Yeah, I just wanted to bring to council's attention the issue regarding the resolution for the competitive contracting for design consultant for the tot lot at Turkey Brook Park, which really is going to be a issue which is going to come up more frequently as we move forward with this project. One of the things that we as the administration identified as lacking in Mount Olive was recreational activities for non-sports related groups. We started off with the advancement of the trail system, and we've been very successful to date, and I expect to see further improvement in that area. But all of you who have been up to Turkey Brook, I think, recognize that the tot lot which is up there is really insufficient for the purpose at which it was originally put in. We're a big town. That tot lot, I think, is very minimal, and so we're looking to move forward now with the installation of a more appropriate facility. We've looked at the state contract and decided that that's not the best way to go in terms of what we're going to be looking to put in. We're going to be looking for a community build type situation with also with the companies in town participating in the funding of the tot lot, and we're going to be looking to make it a community event as we put this together. We think that there are potential savings in going a route of actually going out to bid, and we believe that the best way to accomplish this is to actually bring in someone to coordinate, someone who does this for a living. Because if you've ever started looking through the books of playground equipment, it is, for lack of a better term and not to be using a pun, it's a jungle gym. It's very difficult to really put the pieces together that you need, to have the expertise to know, what you need for the handicapped, to make it ADA accessible, to make it the best that we can make it within the funds that we ultimately allocate for the project. So we're looking at this point to bring in a consultant to start the process of moving this forward.
I have to say, if anybody wants to really get a laugh, you have to see me at the tot lot with my grandson, because they have to go up on this one part and they want to go over to the blue slide, but you kind of got to be right there with a nearly 2-year-old so they don't fall back on the one side. Then they get over to the other side, but the only way to get there is to run around the other side of the jungle gym. So I'm running through this dips and valleys and little divots all over the place going, stay there, don't go yet. And, and by the time I get there, he zips down and he's already around the other side and I'm running over trying to catch him up. So it's hopefully it'll be a little bit easier for parents to get from one side of the equipment to the other.
Well, if you've ever been to Imagination Station in Roxbury,
Yeah.
which was a community build situation, that's the kind of concept that we're looking to put into Mount Olive as well, where it's a one-way into the playground area, one way out with benches for parents to sit. Ultimately, the value of all of our houses will be affected in a positive manner if we provide this type of recreational activity for the youth. My kids are already beyond the use of the playground, although, I guess Hallie
You'll-
might still
You'll
benefit.
have grandchildren someday. And
I will,
so-
but it's not a question of what's good for me, it's a question
Yeah.
of what's good for the town. And this really is a project which I think we're all going to see a very positive response at the end of the day.
And I know, just one,
ahead.
I'm sorry. One other thing, I know this is probably a really unrealistic request, but I have noticed that when you have smaller children and one needs to use the bathroom, the parents have to kind of bundle everybody up and go a long distance to get to the restroom, and I don't know if there's any way we could possibly put a restroom in the center loop area. And I've been thinking about it a lot, and you have the one rest area here and the other one there, and you got the loop right in the middle. If there's any way we could possibly run the line and have a bathroom facility in the center there.
It's a very good suggestion,
I know,
one
it's-
that I hadn't thought of before, and we'll take a look at whether or not it's feasible and practical. But it's a very good
Yeah,
suggestion.
thank you.
Sean has already entered in his computer database.
Yeah, because because it is problematic for, especially if we increase the size of it, we're gonna have more children, and any of us who've had children, you have one child that's playing, the other one needs to use the restroom, it's really hard to drag everybody away. Mr. Mania?
Rob, I'm thrilled. I take a lot of static from my granddaughter and my daughter-in-law who travel to Roxbury. They don't even stay here. And they said, when are you guys gonna do something about this?
I look at the park as it's currently constituted, and it's really just not adequate. And I think that all of us sitting up here recognize that fact. So it's time to get the community behind this project, and let's make it happen.
Yep.
Sounds good, wonderful.
Just, is it gonna be in the same spot, or is it larger? I didn't know would it be where it is, or is it gonna be moved somewhere larger?
I only envision it in the same general area where it is, which is in the center of the loop. Where exactly it's going to be located within the center, I'm not 100% sure, and that's going to be part of the whole planning process, and why we need somebody who's got some expertise.
Yes.
I will say that some people had at one point thought that the center area was a bad area for a tot lot with the cars going by, but on the other hand, a lot of parents will have the younger children, have the older children playing either baseball or soccer, and especially if it's soccer, they can have the little ones and they can still kind of watch the game, so it's really a good location.
It's not the center loop that's the problem, it's the access in and out of the tot lot area,
Right.
which is the problem, and that's why I envision the one entrance in, one entrance out,
Yeah.
similar to the way that it is at Imagination Station, where it's bordered by, if you've ever been down to Imagine, they have the plank fencing, which has all been, paid for and donated by either residents or businesses. And they get free advertising as, having been donated by X, Y, and Z company, or John and Jane Smith, whatever the name's,
Yeah.
Rob Pariso.
Which is-
Pariso, sorry.
Which is excellent, yeah, excellent.
So, it's very exciting, and
It is.
as I said, I think that it's long overdue and will be a major accomplishment of this
Mm-hmm.
council ultimately when it's put in place.
Excellent, excellent idea. Any other further questions? Okay, seeing none? We have one ordinance on
He's taking your money.
for this evening. Any questions, concerned about the ordinance? Mr. Canning is throwing me off. You're waving. I'm thinking that you wanted to, I thought you wanted my
Sorry.
attention to say something, but hi Kathy. We have our retiree, Mrs. Murphy. We miss you. A lot. So, old business, anybody have old business? Seeing none. New business? Okay, seeing none. Public portion, open the meeting now to the public portion. Any questions, concerns from the public? Seeing none, close the public portion. Can I have a motion to adjourn to the
So
public
moved.
meeting?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, we are now moving right on to our public meeting. And we have an amended agenda for our public meeting. We will not have to do the Pledge of Allegiance. We've already done it, but Mrs. Lashley, would you please read the Open Public Meetings Act announcement?
According to the Open Public Meetings Act, adequate notice of this meeting has been given to the Daily Record. Notice has been posted in the Municipal Building, 204 Flanders Drakestown Road, Bud Lake, New Jersey, and notices were sent to those requesting the same.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Mr. Ferrante?
Here.
Mr. Nacastro?
Here.
Mr. Perkins?
Here.
Mr. Roman?
Here.
Mr. Stazak?
Here.
Mr. Mania?
Here.
Mrs. Laybow?
Here. Mr. Ferranti, would you please move for approval of the minutes of the previous meetings of May 14, 2013, the workshop meeting and public meeting? Mr. Roman was absent.
Sure, I move to approve the May 14th, 2013 workshop and public meeting.
I'll second it.
Thank you. Any questions, concerns regarding the minutes? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Ferrante?
Yes.
Mr. Nacastro?
Yes.
Mr. Perkins?
Yes.
Mr. Roman?
Abstain?
Mr. Stazak?
Yes.
Mr. Mania?
Yes.
Mrs. Laybow?
Yes. Next on the agenda, we have our correspondence, and we have 42 pieces of correspondence this evening. Would anybody like to discuss any of our correspondence that we've received? Okay, seeing none, we're moving right along to our first ordinance for public hearing. Where was it in the last page? Here it is.
We're going to just continue that.
Which one? The first one? Those are going to get continued? So we don't have to introduce them, just saying we're going to continue, or introduce them and continue?
We don't need to open up the public hearing. We can open up the hearing at the next meeting.
Okay. We're going to continue both of our ordinances this evening for the next public meeting.
Should
Would-
make a motion to do that, though.
Oh, can I please have a motion to continue ordinance number 16-2013 and ordinance 17-2013 to our next public meeting?
So moved.
Second. All, can we do all in favor, or do you need a roll call?
Everybody moved it, everybody seconded it.
Roll call.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Any opposed? Seeing none. Ordinance for first reading. Second reading will be on June 25th, 2013. Ordinance number 18-2013, entitled, "An Ordinance of the Township of Mount Olive and the County of Morris, State of New Jersey, providing for a street name change from Winding Hill Drive East to Winding Hill Drive West to Winding Hill Drive." Mr. Roman, would you please move that?
I move that ordinance number 18-2013 be introduced by title and passed on first reading, and that a meeting be held on June 25th, 2013 at 7 p.m. at the Municipal Building, 204 Flanders Drakestown Road, Bud Lake, New Jersey, for the public hearing, consideration of second reading, and passage of said ordinance, and that the clerk be directed to publish, post, and make available said ordinance in accordance with the requirements of the law.
Second.
Thank you. Any council discussion on that? I have a question. How did this come about? Is Mr. Canning, was it from the residents, from the association, or?
This was sent by Mr. Semrau, actually.
No, this was
Oh.
the tax assessor asked for this change. The filed maps have east and west on them.
But they
and-
don't go
but
by
they're-
that.
But for 911 purposes, it's completely numbered
Right.
correctly.
Right.
So in
Makes
order
sense.
to
Yeah.
straighten it all out, we have to
Yep.
do the ordinance.
I was also going to say, from a real estate standpoint, it's not designated east or west either, so that's good. So we're just being consistent with this. Alrighty, anybody from the public? Seeing none? Roll call, please.
Mr. Frente?
Yes.
Mr. Nacastro?
Yes.
Mr. Perkins?
Yes.
Mr. Roman?
Yes.
Mr. Stazak?
Yes.
Mr. Mania?
Yes.
Mrs. Laybow?
Yes. Okay, we have consent resolutions. 10 consent resolutions. Would anybody like to remove any of the consent resolutions to non-consent? Okay, seeing none. Mr. Stazak, would you please move our consent resolutions for this evening?
Move consent resolutions 1 through
10.
10
Yes.
Yes.
Second.
for this evening.
Any discussion on resolutions 1 through 10? No, seeing none. Roll call, please.
Mr. Frente?
Yes.
Mr. Nacastro?
Yes.
Mr. Perkins?
Yes.
Should have been on
Mr. Roman?
your, yes.
Mr. Stazak?
Yes.
Mr. Mania?
Yes.
Mrs. Laybow?
Yes. I apologize, I forgot to open the resolutions to the public. Did anyone have any questions or concerns on resolution 1 through 10? Seeing none. Do we have to do a roll call again since I forgot to open to the public? Okay. It's not required. Alrighty, consent motions. Mr. Mania, could you please move our bill list?
Yes, Madam Chair, I move the consent motions, the bill list.
Second.
Thank you. Anybody from the public have any questions, concerns? Seeing none. Anybody from council? Any questions, concerns regarding the bill list? Okay, seeing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Frente?
Yes.
Mr. Nacastro?
Yes.
Mr. Perkins?
Yes.
Mr. Roman?
Yes.
Mr. Stazak?
Yes.
Mr. Mania?
Yes.
Mrs. Laybow?
Yes. Administrative reports. Mr. Mayor, Mr. Canning?
Let me start off. I got a whole bunch of stuff coming up. This Saturday is the opening of the Bud Lake Beach party from 12 to 4:30. 12:30 to 4:30, I'm sorry. And I would hope that to see most of you there at some point during the day. I will be there probably at about 12:30, if I can make it, if not a little later. This week, Councilman DeCastro, Councilman Roman, and I were at the Girl Scout bridging ceremony, which was, again, quite the experience. There are a great bunch of kids that are involved in the Girl Scout program and doing great things for Mount Olive. It was very interesting to hear all of the different projects that they undertook and completed to move forward with their awards. Also this week, or last week I should say, was Relay for Life at the high school, which I understand was very well attended and was a great success, although it was indoors again this year. I know that the Power Wheels has been moving forward, and I don't know if we're at the conclusion or near it's done.
Yeah.
It's done, yeah.
But I understand that was a great success. We have the
Grand
Mud Run
Prix.
coming up on June 22, which again should be a great success. And I know that high school graduation is, I believe, the
25th.
25th of June, which is the same as a council meeting night. I will be attending graduation, but I wanted to wish all of the 8th graders that are being promoted to the high school, all the 5th graders that are going to the middle school, and all the high school graduates, hearty congratulations and good luck for the future, and I'm sure that everyone echoes those sentiments. Sean, what do you have?
I just wanted one other thing with the mud run. They now have a kiddie component to the mud run that's just recently been added, which I thought was really cool. So it's going to be something for everybody of all ages. I'm
My
sorry.
kilt is available for a loan. I think Alex was looking for it. I'm not sure.
Aren't you gonna
my
need it?
hips just
I'll
won't
be in
fit.
Philadelphia at a wedding, unfortunately, that day, so it's,
Sean plans his outside events to occur on days when things are happening in Mount Olive.
begging these people to get better. I have a couple of OEM things. One, I want to recognize, commend Freddie DeToro and Willie Cerrone. They have a OEM tabletop drill coming up. It's the first time in the last year or so that they've done outside of our actual events of last fall. So I'm very gratified to see that they're starting to get all the emergency services together around the table, and we're going to start running through some scenarios in anticipation of hurricane season. While we handled things very well last year, there's always room for improvement, and I'm glad to see that OEM is taking the initiative on that. Along the same lines, I want to thank Councilman Roman. He had contacted me, and I had read in the paper as well. One of the neighboring communities had a generator seminar. I reached out to Fred DeToro, and it looks like he's going to set something up for the residents of just generator safety and some of the other concerns that people had run into during the hurricane last year, including hooking up to your electrical panels. So I believe he's going to try to get the electrical inspector out to do a seminar on that, and we'll try to tape it and get it up on MOTV and also the website. And lastly, I wanted to thank Sherry, Catherine, and Chuck McGrarty, our planner. If you've been following it or not, COA recently had sent a letter to the townships. Again, they were sending their demands as to the development fee monies. Well, the courts had basically put a stay on that for another 30 days, but regardless, we were prepared, and there was some 11th hour, the 11th hour talks and a lot of work by Sherry and Catherine and Chuck, and they got it in under the wire, and it was not easy, but they did it, and I want to recognize them and thank them for their commitment to the township.
Excellent.
One other thing, unfortunately, Michelle in the court had an accident, and she's recuperating, may need some additional surgery, and if you get a chance to just send your good wishes, that might be a good thing.
Sorry to hear that. Any other?
I think that was enough.
That was quite a bit. Took up more time than the whole meeting, so no, but which is a good thing, a very good thing.
Okay, so no-
Legal oh wait, old business. Seeing none, new business? Oh, I actually have an old business. We had a discussion, Mr. Perkins, last time about the bears and the garbage. I did find out that you're supposed to put your garbage out 6 o'clock the night before. But you can't put it out in the afternoon, but 6 o'clock the night before, so I did follow up on that, so. But the problem is not everybody has a garage or a shed to put their garbage in the rest of the week to keep the bears away. And I do know that Mr. Canning had reached out to the ACO to start doing some more education type thing with the bears, and it is rather scary when in the middle of the afternoon the bear's walking down the middle of the street. So whether your garbage is out or not, he's still walking down the middle of the street.
Which ordinance did you find that in, Madam President?
I had asked Tim, and then I checked on the calendar itself, and it says that, you put your garbage out the night before. And Tim said that he was pretty sure it's 6 o'clock, then that keeps people from going, put it in the afternoon before. They don't expect anybody to go out at 4:30 or 5 o'clock in the morning to put out their garbage cans. And in the summertime, a lot of times, the guys will actually start a little bit earlier to try and get done before the heat of the day. So we don't really want a bunch of residents setting their alarm for 4 o'clock in the morning to get their garbage out in the street. So it is the night before, 6 o'clock. Mr. Mayor?
Yeah, I've spoken to a bunch of other mayors, and the bear problem seems to be
Everywhere.
all over.
Everywhere.
It's not just in Mount Olive.
No, it's not just in Mount Olive. So the thing is,
Bears are great roamers. They can go great distances.
absolutely.
So it's really just a question of being smart and being educated in terms of bear safety.
Yep.
And road.
No bird feeders, no feed for anything, and try to bundle up your garbage the best you can.
We did make sure that educational information was put out on the ACO webpage as
Yeah.
well.
Very good, thank you. Okay, we have legal matters.
Thank you, Madam President. That was good. I had one issue tonight. I was going to mention the COA issue and Chuck McGarty's great efforts, but Sean stole my thunder. So thank you, Sean, and no other matters for tonight.
Alrighty. Council reports. Mr. Franti, could you give your reports?
Just on the lake, we had the lake surveyed, I believe it was yesterday. From Aquatic Technologies, seems that past treatment seems to be working. They have observed some other types of weed, and they'll be treating that.
They have other, besides the milfoil and the curly pond weed, we have a new one?
We have Eurasian water milfoil and curly leaf pondweed.
I know, it's the crazy names.
Yeah,
But those,
are the two that are going to be treated.
okay, yeah, those were the two that we've had, but the
And some-
infiltration's reducing?
I'm sorry, what?
There's less now, they said?
Yes.
Yeah, good. And what else? I'm sorry.
Just some algae growth, that's all.
Okay. And then you have library board?
Nothing else.
Nothing? And environmental, sorry, Mr. Perkins? Yes.
Madam President, do you recall how many years now we've been treating the lake for this? Are we on year 3 or 4?
4, I think. 4?
4?
Kathy's saying 4. Yeah, I was pretty sure it's 4. And of course, remember when it first came about, it was almost like 75, 90, 80% of the lake. And it's down, did they say how much of a percentage now?
No, I don't have that.
I know last year it was reduced. We were talking about last year possibly being the last treatment, but I guess, no. I don't need it.
Not gonna happen.
Kathy's saying no. Yeah, probably not going to happen.
It's going to be forever.
It's going to be, and as I understand, I think it's the curly pondweed is actually brought in by the geese and on their bodies, the seeds, and so never ending.
Thank you, Canada.
I don't feel bad now for running over.
Then we have Mr. Mania. You have your reports?
Okay. Planning Board, this meeting on the 13th has been canceled. Our next meeting will be on the 20th. Senior Citizen Report, we need to establish a date when we want to play bocce.
Yay.
So,
Can we practice? We'll have to meet like an hour before
well,
the
you
council
can
and practice.
go there anytime and practice.
Which team are you on, John?
Playing on your team.
Every time the AARP card shows up at my house, my wife makes sure it ends up in front of my face.
I'm sure. Just a
didn't-
reminder, right?
You didn't sign up yet? You didn't sign up yet for it, Rob?
Not yet.
Not yet. Did they have any suggestions on which days, or just
No,
pick a day?
we need to come up with a date, and then we'll see if it works out.
Okay, so if anybody wants to send out an email with, are they talking about the fall? We're setting it up for the fall again? or-
Whenever we want to do it, the fall is the better time.
Fall is better, because it's not as
Yeah.
hot, so we should
Yep.
probably check with the mayor. He's got a really busy calendar, we want to make sure he's available this time.
Oh, he loves to play bocce ball, I know that.
One of my favorite sports.
Thank you.
It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed myself. We had a great time. We really had a lot of fun. So looking forward to that. Let me see, we have Mr. Nicastro. Could you give us your reports?
Only one, I briefly made the open space meeting last night, as Kathy will tell you. I was over at the Girl Scout thing, so I got there at the end. But the main thing to let everyone know is that on Sunday, June 23rd, is another trail day again. Looking for people to meet up at the high school at 1 p.m. to go work on the Orange Trail, I believe, over at Turkey Brook is what it is. So that's the main thing that I got out of that, being there for 10 minutes.
We have our,
How come you only made the end of the meeting? You left the Girl Scout bridging at about 6 o'clock.
Yeah, right.
we have our liaison from Troop 249. Perhaps maybe some of the scouts might want to join in on some of the trailblazing. Have you done that before yet? Or?
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun, isn't it?
Yeah.
You get to learn where the trails are and what's going on. It's a really great experience. Let me see, we have Mr. Perkins.
Thank you, Madam President. The only report that I have is for the Legislative Committee. I had a discussion with Senator Rojo as well as Assemblywoman Allison McCose on the New Jersey Clean Energy for what they call the State Smart Growth Area, which was enacted by past Governor McGreevey. They had removed, there's 9 counties that were added for Superstorm Sandy, where they are able to share in some of the clean energy money for building energy efficiency, whether it be on a full rebuild or new buildings. And they are pressing the Board of Public Utilities to hopefully in the year 2014, since we're already halfway there, to remove the state smart growth requirement, which will mean that anything that does get built here could be built to the Energy Star standard for clean energy in New Jersey, and the developer could share in some of the incentives, such as we're doing with the direct install program, for our HVAC equipment. So that may be able to help. I've already spoken to people from Homeless Solutions. I have a working relationship with them, and they'd be tickled pink if they could get a few $1,000s back for working on cobblestone, should that go through.
Excellent, excellent. Any other, just the legislative, okay?
Nope.
That was excellent report. We have Mr. Roman next.
For recreation, baseball and softball for the recreation is drawing down to a close this weekend. Softball finished up with their all-star games, and unfortunately, because of the weather, the annual coaches game was canceled. Baseball still has some games they need to get underway, and on our travel side, it appears that our 12U girls are on their way to possibly making it down to Florida.
Yep, that was excellent.
So, I mean, these group of girls, being here in town for a while and being on softball for a long time, I knew them when they were yo-high, like to me. And now to see them, they have come a long way all together, and they are a great group of girls. I mean, it's phenomenal to see them play. And I look forward to seeing what we end up providing them in the high school. And that is it on Board of Education. And I'd like to segue both those items with the Girl Scout bridging. Being a father of 3, I'm kind of a feminist, because it was exhilarating to see these young Girl Scouts doing those service projects, and you could see the leaders in there. They may not all end up being, politicians or CEOs or something like that, but just by the example of the projects that they are doing, you could tell that they're going to be leaders in whatever they end up doing. And that is it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And I'm not going to pass over Mr. Stazak this time. I had my finger right here, so I'd remember, because I always go right over it. Sorry. MOTV.
We haven't met since the last meeting. Our next meeting is July 8th at 6 p.m. here in the municipal building. So we'll have a report after that.
Excellent. And for TNR, we're going to be having our annual spring yard sale over at the After on Route 206 in Flanders on the 28th and 29th. So we are always looking for donations. If you'd like to donate any household items that you no longer want. And that's actually we have it twice a year, spring and fall, and it's our biggest fundraisers. And we are able to, sell the items and also give out a lot of information regarding TNR. And actually, people come from all over the place. It's a very interesting 2 days, exhausting 2 days, but you meet a lot of people. But it is really a lot of fun. And hopefully it doesn't rain this time. We've had rain. This is going to be nice weather. Can you have a proclamation for that, Mayor, please? Nice weather on the 28th and 29th of June?
So be it.
Thank you.
Wow.
Very good.
I'm impressed.
How did Ramsey say it in the Ten Commandments? So let it be
Said.
So let it be written, so let it be done.
Let it be done. Not that I'm comparing myself to Pharaoh.
So say it to Shepherd.
Well, with that mayor won.
It's funny, you have to kind of be careful about that thing. I was at one of our training things with my real estate officer, Keller Williams, and they were saying this one guy, he had this, down in Florida, they had this really great mailer had gone out, because this guy's, you know, trying to promote himself, and how it's saying, oh, and he can walk on water, and they show a picture, you know, of course, superimposed, he's walking on water. Well, there's a lot of religious groups with that, and they were extremely offended, and they called them up and got all this nasty phone calls that just created this whole firestorm of not what he intended to have. So his publicist, they turned around the following week, they sent out another postcard showing him falling in the water. He says, well, okay, so he can't walk on water. So you always, hear all well-intended comments, you never know. But so be it.
Was there a moral in that story?
No, I was just sharing a little bit of a funny story. But obviously it fell flat. It fell in the water.
Next council meeting, think about what the moral is of that story.
That's our homework.
Oh, homework. We get homework. We have our public portion. Anybody from our public like to come up and say a few words? Okay, seeing none, I'm going to close the public portion. And at this point, we will, should we do council comments and move into executive session? Okay. Council comments, please.
Nothing.
Mr.
Again, just
Castro?
as the mayor said, it was great to see all the Girl Scouts there and all the volunteers that do it. There's so many of them, it's amazing. But also the Boy Scouts, I had the pleasure of going to Cletus Fox was doing got the Eagle Scout on Sunday.
Sunday.
So congratulations to him as well. There's a lot of hard work that goes into all of that to get there. And so it was good to see that. So just congratulations to him again. And
Excellent. Mr. Perkins,
It's not been a good week, Madam President.
I was going to ask you, how's Mom doing?
The prognosis is encouraging. As soon as they can figure out whether they should be putting a life vest on her or not for her heart, then they'll be discharging her from Morristown, and she's been accepted to Kessler, so she'll have intensive rehabilitation there. It's a little sad, to put a damper on the election night celebration, that's for sure. And of course, Mom missed the senior prom this past Friday, so it's always an event we like to get to. But the well wishes and prayers of the community and those that have been in touch have definitely helped. I thank you from the bottom of my heart, from my family. Thank you, everybody, and we'll just keep going forward.
How was Mr. Mania, how was the senior prom Friday night over at the Senior Citizen Center? Oh, you didn't go? Okay.
He didn't have a date.
You didn't have a date? Oh.
Yeah. Rob was gonna be my date, but he backed out.
There was plenty of senior women there, I'm sure.
I'll be trolling there pretty soon.
Remember, walking on water, Alex.
Yeah, don't walk on water.
It's amazing.
Colleen, we have this
Yes.
wonderful Mount Olive logo pretzel that was prepared by Philly Pretzel Factory
Oh,
down in
cool.
Hackettstown. And while I
Look
think
at
it's
that.
really pretty cool, it's going to probably get very hard if it's not consumed. So people should
Eat it?
either take the whole thing or part of it as you leave here tonight, have a piece.
Did you take pictures of that? You gotta put
It's
that up
already on.
It's already on Facebook.
Oh, I didn't see it. That is really cool.
Yes, but in any event, there's no benefit to keeping it as the Mount Olive
Yeah.
logo because it will get rock hard eventually. So-
Actually, years ago, we used to shellac things like that. Like ornaments in Girl Scouts. We used to take the dough and cookies and we'd put shellac on them and they would be ornaments. So
Yes, well,
maybe we should shellac it.
And you can sell it at the TNR garage sale.
There you go.
And that's good stuff.
A
that you like.
novelty piece. And now we can hang it up in the lobby.
We're not hanging it.
No.
Take a piece home.
If anybody hasn't had dinner yet. So, Mr. Stazak.
Mr. Roman.
Sorry, what? Oh, I'm
Mr.
sorry,
Roman.
Mr.
I was
Roman.
standing, you didn't see me. The only thing of note that I want to say is that this Friday night is Van Olive Night at the Somerset Patriots, sponsored by the baseball softball organization. So if to enjoy a great time of AAA ball, head on down. And that is it.
There you go, Mr. Stazak.
It was good to see all those residents at Relay for Life. My wife was there. She was honored by her school. And it was really good, and I really appreciated it. So,
excellent.
thank you to Tinsford School.
Wonderful. Mr. Mania?
Just for informational purposes, the generator was delivered to the St. Jude Parish Center, but unfortunately it was all damaged, so it had to be sent back. We're waiting for a new one to come, and Father Joe Orlandia asked me to inform Mayor and Council that once that generator is in place, it will be able to generate heat, air conditioning, and we're also going to upgrade the kitchen at the Parish Center. So in the event of another Sandy, hopefully we'll never have another one, we have a place for our citizens.
We'll raise that at the roundtable discussion that we're having next week in terms of our OEM.
Excellent. Perfect.
And certainly thank Father Joe, because it was one of the shortfalls that we had
Yes,
during Sandy, and I'm glad that
And
St.
he-
Jude's has stepped up and is performing an incredibly valuable service for the community.
and he certainly realized that, so he put a generator over at the rectory. Of course, he's leaving at the end of the month, but there's a generator there for the incoming priest.
He's leaving.
Yes,
New
he's
priest? Oh,
he's
good.
retiring, he's going back to Italy,
When is he leaving exactly?
the 29th.
Can you ask him to come to the council meeting on the 25th? Although I won't be here, we'll have something for him for his service to Mount Olive Township.
Yes, that would be excellent. I was
We're also
say
going to
the
have
same thing.
at the 5:30 Mass, I have a proclamation coming from the New Jersey Senate that I'll read at the Mass.
5:30 Mass on what day?
This Saturday.
This Saturday?
Yeah, hopefully I'll have it.
Would you let us know in case if anybody can make it over there?
Yeah,
For the
well,
factor, yeah.
5:30 Mass,
Mhm.
St.
Is
Jude's.
that at
And you don't
5:30?
have to be Catholic.
Yeah,
I'll be present
yeah,
this Saturday, 5:30.
this Saturday.
Thank you,
yeah.
Mayor.
I really like Father Joe.
He is super.
Done a lot for this parish.
He's a
I'll
very
never.
funny man, too.
Yeah, he is.
He is.
I never forget, he was away when we had the tragedy at Bud Lake with the two teens, and he came back to be there with the families. And it was, I thought it was really wonderful that, you know, he just came right back home and helped out with everything, so.
We were very
We're gonna miss
fortunate
him.
to have
Well,
him.
isn't it amazing, though, when we lost Father Bob to Chatham, that was a huge loss, and
Mhm.
how
We got
we're
lucky.
provided with continued leadership, that every time somebody moves on with their career or their life, we get somebody new who steps in the shoes and
Yep.
ultimately steps up to the plate also.
And, yeah, all of our clergy and our rabbis in town, everybody's just works so nice together, and it's wonderful. We're very, very fortunate.
Well, he's going back to Italy to take care of his 94-year-old mother. He really and truly is.
Wow,
Yeah.
And I don't have anything to say this evening for council comment, since I already gave my words of wisdom with the water story. So I'm going to ask Mr. Perkins if you could please move us into executive session.
Yes, Madam
Which
Pre-
I will, you want to say what it's, our executive session will be to discuss personal matter, Board of Education, baseball fields.
Yes, Madam President, under Section 7 and 8 of the Open Public Meetings Act, I make a motion that we move into executive session to discuss personnel matters and the Board of Education baseball fields.
Thank you.
Second.
Take a 2-minute recess so people can come grab a piece of
Yes, everybody, please.
Before the executive session, yeah.
But we're going to have the executive session right here, because it'll be at the end of the meeting, and we will not be taking any action. And I think, Mrs. Murphy, you need to stay for
And
part of
please
the...
note that the minutes will be available upon conclusion
you
of these
can.
matters.
Mr. Kenning, should
Probably
Mrs.
should
Murphy
include that
stay
in the
for
first
it, or no?
statement.
No, you don't have to stay. You can go.
I made a motion.
And can we have a second?
Second.
Second. All in favor? Aye. We're moving into executive session.
First, a 2-minute break.
No, it's a little...